I'd like to call to order the Liberal City Commission meeting for this Tuesday, July the 12th. May we have roll call, please?
Mayor Denoyer.
Here.
Vice Mayor Aragon.
Here.
Commissioner Carlisle.
Here.
Commissioner Harrison.
Here.
Commissioner Martinez.
Here.
We have a quorum, Your Honor.
All right, will you please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation as given by Pastor Kevin Alexander of New Beginnings Church. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Father God, we thank you that we are a nation that truly still lives under you. God, that you pour your blessings out on us despite of our shortcomings. God, right now we pray for our elected officials in this community, God. May the wisest decisions of heaven be made that will bring revival to our community, not just spiritual, but Lord, industrial, and bless our community in every way as we honor you. We thank you and we give you all the praise and glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
All right, first item on the agenda is awards, proclamations, and presentations. Seeing none, we'll move on to the approval of the agenda. Commissioners, you approve the agenda as presented, or any additions, corrections there?
Your Honor, I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
A motion by Commissioner Harrison with a second by Vice Mayor Aragon. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the June 28th, 2016 regular meeting and the June 29th, 2016 special meeting. Any additions or corrections to the minutes? If not, I'd ask for a motion to approve as presented.
Your Honor, I make a motion to approve the minutes of June the 28th, 2016 regular meeting and June 29th, 2016 special meeting.
A motion by Commissioner Carlisle. I have a second.
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Aragon. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Next item on the agenda is agenda item number 4, which would be items from citizens. Are there any citizens in the audience that would like to address the commission on non-agenda items? And seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item number 5, which is items from groups. Are there any groups in the audience that would like to address the commission on non-agenda items? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda, agenda item number 6. All items listed are considered to be routine by the City Commission and will be enacted by one motion. There'll be no separate discussion of these items unless a commission member or citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. 6A is acknowledgement of receipt of minutes from the Liberal Housing Authority's meeting on May the 10th, and 6B is approval of airport leases, Liberal New Iron and Metal, Don Small, Kenny McIlvain, Crown Consulting, and Brungart Pumping. Motion to approve?
Your Honor, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
A motion by Commissioner Harrison with a second by Commissioner Carlisle. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call for the vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, gentlemen. Next item on the agenda is the condemnation of 616 West First Street. We will start with 7A, which is a public hearing. I now declare the public hearing officially open. Have all the proper legal notices been given?
Yes, they have.
I now invite members of staff to testify on this matter before the commission.
Good evening. My name is Jeremy Durkin. I'm here to present resolution number 2240, findings for condemnation of 616 West First Street. On January 29th, 2016, inspection was made at the structures located at 616 West First Street. The defects to said structures listed below still exist. Inadequate sanitation, structural hazards, hazardous electrical, plumbing, and mechanical, faulty weather protection, hazardous or unsanitary premises, and fire hazard. Staff recommends that the City Commission adopt the attached resolution number 2240, which will order the main structure, detached garage, and detached shed located at 616 West First Street to be repaired, condemned, or demolished.
I'd like to note to the commission that you've just received an updated packet of pictures from this morning. Does the commission have any questions for staff?
We first became alerted about this January the 29th of 2016. Since that time, has there been any progress made there at all?
The yard has been cleaned up and mowed a few times.
That's it.
And it looks fine now, the yard does anyway, as far as the grass goes.
But as far as the house?
Nothing.
Okay.
Excuse me, I own the house.
Ma'am, you'll have your moment here in just 1 second. Any other questions for staff from the commission? All right, thank you. Anyone else wish to testify on this matter? Please come forward, state your name and address in an audible tone for the record.
On the house title, it says Belinda Holcomb at 616 West First Street. We've been trying to get up the money to get estimates made on the roof. The wall structures are still good, it's just the roof is really bad, and the porch is coming down on the east side, so it has to be completely jacked up. So, and my sons have been helping me a lot with the yards and stuff, so. But I'm trying to get it to be livable again, so. But if I have to destroy the house, if I have to tear it down, can it be zoned for a mobile home? Or do you know for sure?
I don't think it can be, ma'am.
Kevin, would you please come forward and answer the question for us as building department head?
It would not be allowed to be zoned for mobile homes. You would have to rezone it, but that would be a spot zone, and it wouldn't, no spot zoning is allowed
In the city limits?
in the city. It would have to stay the residential R1.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, any questions for
From my understanding, you go over there every day to feed and water cats inside the house?
Yes, sir.
You think that's sanitary?
My cats have been destroying the inside of the house, but I've also been cleaning the house inside. Gradually cleaning it. My back's been bothering me a lot here lately, and I haven't really been able to do a lot. But I go over there every day and tend to them and, you know, clean it.
This house is in bad shape for 10 years plus.
10 years. It just started getting bad just a few years back, not 10.
I know the gentleman owns a house right to the west of you real well. This house has been in bad shape. Needed a lot of fixing done 10 years ago. I mean, you just now let it to where I don't think it can be fixed.
Yeah. I've lived there for, since 94, and the house has always been pretty good, the condition and everything. Deborah Bruner should have put the new roof on it back in 99, and he never did, before he passed away. And then I bought the house in 04.
Are there utilities hooked up to the property?
No, sir.
There are no utilities?
There's no utilities whatsoever over there.
And you're living in the structure with no utilities?
I'm not living there. Recently I've gotten remarried.
Okay.
I got remarried in September, so I'm living at my husband's house.
Okay. When you came up, you gave your address as 616 West First, so I was just going off of that, so.
No, that's what the title says, and this is what this letter says. It's got the address on it. It's 616 West First. I live at 39 South Clay, just right across the street.
All right, do you have any more statements or any more questions for her? Anybody else? No? Thank you.
How long do I have before I find out what's going to happen?
We will make a decision here tonight, and then it will tell you how many days you have to show adequate progress on the property. So, is there anyone else that wishes to testify on this matter? Seeing none, I declare this public hearing closed. Gentlemen?
Do I need to stay?
Yes, you can stay and listen to the...
Your Honor, I make a motion that we accept staff's recommendation to adopt resolution number 2240, which will order the main structure, detached garage, and detached shed located at 616 West First Street to be repaired, condemned, or demolished. The City Commission must determine the number of days in which the property owner must make the necessary repairs or remove the structure. Staff is recommending 30 days be given to Belinda I. Holcomb to repair or remove the structure. And I would make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Harrison, is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
A second by Commissioner Carlisle. Basically, ma'am, what they've said is you have 30 days to get with our code enforcement officers and to make adequate progress to try and come into compliance as per city ordinance. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, any further comments? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Next item up on the agenda tonight is agenda item 8A, self-contained breathing apparatus cylinder replacements. Kelly?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. What we're asking for here, and have a memo and some quotes in your packet from me, I believe, is to replace 8 of our Scott breathing air cylinders that have reached the end of their lifespan. Due to the proprietary nature of this equipment, there were only 2 vendors who were able to bid, and one of those even submitted the bid, but he was out of his sales area, so he really indicated that it wouldn't work out for him if he did get the bid. Our only other consideration in this was whether to go with the 15 or the 30-year bottles, but the technology changes on the air packs literally yearly, so it's hard to predict what we'll be wearing 30 years from now, or not me, but some of the guys will be wearing 30 years from now. And so we think it'd be the best idea to go with the 15-year bottles and go ahead and replace 8 of those at this point. And as I mentioned in the memo, this stuff's high-dollar equipment, so we need to stay on top of the replacement program. And this is a budgeted item in our capital equipment replacement program.
What do you do with those bottles?
When they bring them back, when they can no longer be hydro-tested, they drill a hole in them so that they won't hold the air anymore. So you can make lamps out of them, things like that, but that's about it.
Your Honor, I make a motion, we approve the 8 Scott scuba cylinders from Municipal Emergency Services at the total quoted cost of $8,940.
A motion by Commissioner Carlisle, a second by Vice Mayor Aragon. Any further discussion on the SCADA cylinder replacements? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. 8B, station furniture replacement. Kelly?
Again, this is another item that we talked to you about budget time last year. This is replacement of our station furniture in the day rooms of each station. Right now, if you walk in there, we have a hodgepodge of all kinds of furniture people have donated and collected over the years. There are companies out there that manufacture just some basic stuffed recliners that can be put in there and get rid of the couches and the love seats and all the chairs that we have in there now. What we'd like to do is put 3 at Station 1, 3 at Station 2, and 1 at Station 3. Generally, there's just 1 person out at the airport station, and when he comes back in to town, when we have 6 on shift, we'd have 3 at each station. So that should accommodate all the on-duty personnel in the living quarters, so they'll have a place to sit in the evenings when the sun starts to go down. But again, this was another budgeted item in our capital equipment replacement program for furniture replacement.
Any questions for the chief?
Your Honor, I make a motion, we approve the purchase of 7 Centennial recliners from Fire Station Outfitters at a total quoted cost of $4,725.
Motion by Commissioner Carlisle. We have a second by Commissioner Martinez.
Yes.
Any further discussion?
I just have a question for Chief. I think I know what the answer is, but just in case somebody's not privileged to know, all of these quotes are from Fire Station Outfitters instead of furniture stores. What's the reason for that?
These are, well, if you look around our group, we don't have a lot of little guys, and these are built with steel frames, and we've tried residential furniture before, but it just breaks down so bad over time. These are made to handle the loads that we put in them, so to speak.
Thank you.
All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
And you put yourself in that category, Kelly? I said, you put yourself in that category? Been eating too many Jordan peaches, haven't you? All right, gentlemen, next item on the agenda is agenda item number 9, which is the Mid-America Air Museum F-14A Tomcat restoration. Before we talk about this, I would like to invite Mr. Rash to the podium to give the commission a little bit of history, as we talked prior to the meeting on the Tomcat.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the only military plane that is in the museum that came in on its own. It was flown in by a commander from southwest Kansas. It was brought in by a school teacher in Liberal, Kansas, who became a friend of Naval Commander Davis from Syracuse, Kansas. His father was a Ford dealership there, and when he flew it in, the family came and was here to greet him, and he shared about 3 or 4 days with his family. It's the only one. The rest of them that belong to the military were all brought in through the trucking or either by helicopter that dropped them in. Are there any questions?
Mr. Rash, it's my understanding that this is almost a requirement to keep this aircraft here is the restoration project. The military, if it is notified that it is in disrepair, could come and take this away from us.
They'll come and take it away, but it's at your cost. So it's a good program because moving a plane of that size is going to run into a lot of expense.
And which could also result in fines, if I'm not mistaken.
Sir?
Could result in fines for not maintaining it to a...
That's right. I'd like to have the okay to allow the Naval Commander Davis to have his name put under the cockpit since he's the last one that flew it in. And I'll work with the restorer to make sure that happens if it's all right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rash. Thank you, Don. I guess, Mark, do you want to take this, or should we just, I know the Mid-America Air Museum Foundation is willing to, Chris, put up $12,000?
He'll be glad to explain it. He was in the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Thank you, Mr. Rash, for that explanation of the history. That's very interesting. You have before you tonight an opportunity to help restore a part of history. As Mr. Rash alluded, you know, the F-14A Tomcat is very special to the museum as it was flown in. It is a requirement of the Air Museum that we maintain the static military aircraft displays that are on loan from the various armed forces. As you may be aware, we do have several aircraft that are outside, just to the west of the museum, out on the tarmac. And I think just over time, you know, Mother Nature has kind of taken her own toll with the planes and whatnot. And so with that, I know that when Director Burt was here, he did embark upon a mission to restore 6 aircraft that were on display outdoors and to relocate those inside the building. This would be the 3rd aircraft that has been restored, as we've already done the F-8E and the OV-10. And I do want to give special recognition that had it not been for the MAM Foundation partnering with us to restore those, we would have a tougher time doing that ourselves. So back in February, Director Burt obtained the attached quote from Randy's Professional Painting, LLC, that would include all paint materials, lettering, and decals per the Department of the Navy's Naval Air Museum specifications for a total amount of $21,652. My first concern was, hey, this quote was back in February. You know, where do we stand? Is this still a valid quote? So I did contact Randy with the company, and he assured me that the price was still a valid quote, and he further alluded to having the availability into the schedule to start on the plane upon approval by the commission. And with that, our 2016 budget included $10,000 for restoration, in line with our restoration plan. And on June 21st of 2016, the MAM Foundation did agree to partner with us for the balance of the project with a grant of up to $12,000. So I come before you tonight with 2 staff requests. The first, for the commission to consider to accept the grant from the MAM Foundation for a total of up to $12,000 for restoration of the F-14A Tomcat. And then the second part would be consideration to approve the quote from Randy's Professional Painting in the amount of $21,652 to restore our F-14A Tomcat.
Your Honor, I make a motion to accept the grant from the Mann Foundation for $12,000 for the restoration of the F-14A Tomcat.
We have a motion on, and a second. Motion by Commissioner Harrison, second by Vice Mayor Aragon. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. All right, item B, consideration of Randy's Professional Painting to do the work.
Your Honor, I make a motion that we approve the quote from Randy's Professional Painting LLC in the amount of $21,000 for the restoration of the F-14 Tomcat.
$21,652.
$652, I'm sorry.
I'll make a second.
All right, we have a motion by Vice Mayor Aragon, a second by Commissioner Carlisle. Just for the record, Randy's Professional Painting has done the previous 2 restorations on the other aircraft, so
Correct.
he's well aware of what he's getting himself into. So, all right, all those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Chris, and again, Mr. Rash, thank you for coming, and thank the Mid-America Air Museum Foundation for the generous donation.
Thank you.
Next item up on the agenda will be the final plat of the North Pinnacle Edition. Mr. Kirk 2.
Kirk 2.
Older or younger? Younger, right?
Younger, middle, yeah.
Wiser.
Wiser, a lot wiser, yeah.
A lot grayer, too.
Exactly. Tonight I bring before you the final plat of North Pinnacle Edition. On July 5th, 2016, the Liberal Metropolitan Area Planning Commission reviewed the final plat of the North Pinnacle Edition. The owner of this property requests acceptance of the final plat of this property to allow construction of a hotel that meets all the requirements of the City of Liberal. After review of the final plat and discussion among the planners, it was the recommendation of the planners to forward this final plat, North Pinnacle Edition, to the City Commission for acceptance of this plat. It is the recommendation of the staff for the City Commission to accept the North Pinnacle Edition.
Any
Your Honor,
questions?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I make a motion to accept the North Pinnacle plat.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Harrison with a second by Vice Mayor Aragon. Any further discussion?
I'd just like to say thank you to the North Pinnacle Group for investing in Liberal. And I don't know how many people are aware, but there's a lot of local folks involved in that, and some folks from the further north boundaries here too. And we appreciate everybody that wants to invest in Liberal.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, all those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Next item up on the agenda is agenda item number 11. We have 2 parts. Board appointments, A, to the Liberal Housing Authority.
Mayor, Commissioners, I grabbed cancel, sorry. Yes, request that Ty Lewick be appointed to the board as soon as possible. And this would be for a term of, and I don't see it there, but it is until
Sue Lepper's. It's to fill a vacated spot from Sue Lepper, so until her regular term is up. So it doesn't say when, but. Any questions from the commission on the appointment of Mr. Lewick to the Housing Authority Board? If not, I'd call for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Harrison.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Carlisle. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next item up on the agenda, board appointment to the Arcalen Council. Ms. Giske.
Good evening, Your Honor, Commissioners. The Arcalen Council has a vacant position on the board as a result of David Riley's resignation. His term will end December 31st, 2017. We've received 3 resumes, and you have those in your packet. The board met and are recommending Daniel Jenkins to fill the unexpired term, expiring December 31, 2017.
Any questions for Ms. Giske?
Yeah, I'd like to know how many county positions are on the board currently?
Pardon me?
How many county people are on the board?
We have one person on the board that's a county employee, and that's Mr. Geringer.
Okay. Well, I'd like to make a motion to accept the application from Pamela Purvis on the board there.
I'll second that.
A motion to appoint Pamela Purvis to the board. Motion made by Commissioner Martinez with a second from Commissioner Carlisle. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much.
The next item up on the agenda, agenda item number 12, park safety equipment. Is this Mr. Zuniga? Do you have this? Park safety equipment? You do now, right? Martin?
Basically, Mayor, Commissioners, and at North Bluebonnet Park, we've always had experienced children, be it for football or soccer, crossing from the rec center over to the north. We did have an accident just a month or 2 ago, and it is one of those in discussions with some of the members of the traffic safety is to a possible way. It would be on demand. It would be a push button, but to actually give a designated spot for a person to cross from north to the other. We are in the process, and as the commission is aware, in the past, we are closing, it's not a road, but by the tennis courts in that, and we're doing it, if you've seen the construction, we're providing railing on the north and south, and that way for any cars that would try to turn in and not realize that it is not an entrance. We are, as we go down and we place the speed bumps through there, through the park to slow traffic down, we are going to close off the Recreation Department's parking lot. So it will not be a through street. So travel will truly be east and west instead of worrying about north and south at 2 entrances. What we propose is to provide at North Bluebonnet Park in that area, 8th Street. It is on demand, it lights up, and lets people know that a person would like to cross that street. It's solar, and it is one of those, if we should move it to another location, that can be done. But this is a set. There's one for each side, but it does give them a designated crossing point. The next item was, and I know you're aware, down in that we do not have any crossings from the north to south Lee Family Park, and we would like to install those. It's strictly on demand. It is one of those, should somebody want to cross the street, they press the button, it flashes, letting know the driver that somebody would like to cross there. And, we feel that's another area where we'd like to add protection to that. This does fall under our park improvements. It is one of those that would be safety, and we like the idea of the solar in case we need to move it from an intersection. But if we need to purchase more to provide safety, I'll be back to the commission. The other item is just for the crossing, and that is the $2,000 in the pipe and the paint that we are going to do in-house in protection in North Bluebonnet of those entrances that are being closed.
And the next drive up 8th Street coming into the rec center for the parking lot, like Mark said, that one would not be on construction until we put the speed bumps going around the park, because this is the only way they're going to come in off of 7th Street. So city staff has been talking that for the safety, we need to put all the speed bumps first before we can start closing the other driveway.
Now, when we first approved the championship court, we talked about doing angled parking. Are we still looking at doing that, or are we just going to go with the barriers and the things for now?
Well, as the end result, this will actually, because there will be one entrance in and one entrance out, this will be perpendicular parking that they will pull in, and there will be no parking on the west side, but it will be, go from the south all the way up to the north.
Yeah.
Any further questions? Anybody have any questions for Danny or for Mark on the park improvement safety equipment?
So these are a flashing sign, then, what it looks like in the picture.
But it's just on demand when they press the button.
Yeah, it was a choice to get the beacon or that sign, but those will bring more the attention to the people because it's the lights will be on the sign and the beacon will be just on the bottom. So they recommended those be better.
Okay. I think that'd be a good deal. There has calls about both of these places.
Oh, it's during Kids Inc. soccer and football.
Right, because a lot of the kids go across on 8th Street and it is necessary to add something to cross in there to bring the attention to the traffic.
Now, the speed bumps, where are they going? Are they going on 8th Street? Or are they going in
they'll
this,
be inside of the park.
Inside the park, okay.
As you come in off of 7th Street and you start going back west, that's where they need to be.
Any further questions?
I'd like to make the motion to consider the purchase of these 4 two-set pedestrian flashing for the amount of $8,220 and $2,000 for the safety barrier.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Martinez and a second by Commissioner Harrison. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Next up, City
Thank you,
Manager's report.
Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor, Commissioners, keeping it short, just want to thank everybody for what they're doing. We're still working on projects and we will continue to work for them. Cal and Ripken has concluded their season, so we will look towards some of the improvements, some of the things that we learned during this year. The Babe Ruth has a couple more weeks, and then we'll also look at improvements to that. So everything is going forward. The heat and staff is protecting itself out there, but they are trying to keep ahead of the weeds, and I appreciate all that they're doing with the projects that we have and the heat that is out there. So if there's any questions, I'd like to answer those.
Mary Frame Park playground equipment.
Tomorrow, I believe. Tomorrow is Mary Frame Park, and the supervisor's here, and they constructed. We will do a pad to contain the mulch that's put in, but tomorrow they construct the new, and he is coming down to help us do that.
When's the new soccer field going to be done?
I'll let the commissioners talk about today. They were there with Mr. Lambert. As we explained to Mr. Lambert, we're looking at is after the surveys and things that need to be done. Daniel has already started working on it, but actually groundwork we're looking at sometime in September.
And Chief Animal, we get our new steel in yet?
Yes.
Good deal.
We have 3 walls with ceilings.
Awesome.
4th wall will be up this week. Gutters are going up tomorrow. Probably should be slated to do the interior work by the end of the month. That's looking good.
Thank you.
It's good.
Any other questions for the city manager? All right, items from commissioners. I'll start with Commissioner Martinez.
I'd like to, I was with the city group that went out, me and Joe, to accept the donated land from Mr. Lambert. I want to thank him and his family. I think that'll be a nice facility when it's done for the city. And I also got some news that we're going to get a donation from the Union Pacific Railroad for our little train park too. Depot Board will accept that on Thursday. So thank them for that also. That's it.
Commissioner Carlisle.
I want to thank the Lambert family for the donation. We got a lot of calls and support for all the lights on Main Street. Everybody's liking them. I think we've done a good job on that. Thank you.
Commissioner Harrison.
I too would like to thank the Lambert family for their very generous donation. I think that's going to be a fabulous deal for our community. It's going to be 2 lighted soccer fields, the way I understand it, and it's going to be and we're going to take a brown spot and turn it into a green spot, and I think it's going to be a fantastic addition to our community and our recreation department, and I just can't express my thanks to the Lambert family enough for their generous donation of this. And I know Daniel's excited about it. I know everybody here is excited to see that thing finally come around and take shape. We've worked on doing a lighted soccer field for at least 8 years now, and we're finally going to see it happen. And appreciate everybody's work on that. And I think Joe will probably touch on it. I'm just going to throw it out so remind him too, but there's going to be a opportunity for the community to come out and spend a little time with the guys in the police department on Sunday. And Joe, you know the time and stuff and location better than I do, so. But in light of the events in the past few weeks, excuse me, be a good time. Show some support.
Vice Mayor Aragon.
I too would like to thank the Lambert family. Really appreciate it. It's going to be a wonderful thing, much needed for Liberal, and really excited to see Danny work his magic over there. They've done such good work. Also, wanted to mention that here last weekend we had several people from all over the United States, coaches that came to town. A lot of them are from Liberal originally and have left to coach elsewhere. And we got to spend some time with them, and they were all had nothing but really, really good comments to say about Liberal, and they came and stayed in our hotels and ate in the restaurants, and they put on a camp for a whole bunch of high school kids, and they had a golf tournament, raised a bunch of money for cancer victims, cancer patients, and it was really, really nice to see, especially the ones from Liberal that came back and had such good positive things to say about it. And also, well, this Sunday at the BJ game, we're gonna buy that out, so everybody's invited. It's for free, but we're gonna celebrate 1 year since we lost our bat boy, and it's a pretty tough deal. But we just want to show them, family and the BJ organization, that we support them then, and we still do now. And before that happens, we will be at Spencer Brown's to also show support for our Liberal Police Department. Thank you.
That's National Beef Run out road, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Not the Aragon family?
The National Beef with a few partners.
I think that's going to be all law enforcement too. So.
Yeah.
All right, anything else?
That's it.
All right. I had the opportunity this afternoon to reconnect with some old friends, Dwayne and Thelma Jean Lambert, and be a part of the acceptance of their generous donation, which will be a legacy to their family for a long time. Listening to them talk as Mark presented the plans, I think they're very excited for what their vacant piece of ground is going to become and what it'll mean to the children and to the adults of this community. It's folks like that and folks like the Pinnacle Group that continue, local folks investing in our community, that keeps us strong and keeps us growing. So I want to thank Dwayne and Thelma Jean Lambert for their generous donation. They were a little humble when Mark had suggested Lambert Fields. They said no way, they don't want, they'll come up with something, but they didn't really want that because that's just the type of people they are. So I want to thank them. I believe it is at 3 o'clock on Sunday. reception for local law enforcement officers at Spencer Brown's. As Commissioner Harrison said, in the light of recent activities and attack on our men and women in blue, I feel it's essential that we show the appreciation that they deserve as they go about doing their jobs on a day-to-day basis, hoping that they come home, but not knowing for sure if they're going to come home. As we saw just a little over a year ago, officers under fire. I think it's time to come together, black, white, red, yellow, brown, and just lift them up and let them know that we have their backs when they're in their time of need, and that we support them 100% and will continue to do so as a community, knowing that we have some of the best men and women on the force here in Liberal that will continue to do their jobs. As we're running one way, they're running in the other way to protect us. And I want to thank the organizers of this event for putting this together. Long overdue, but I do want to thank and invite everybody at 3 o'clock, Spencer Brown's this coming Sunday. So please come out and support our police department, and I invite the fire department. You guys are right there too. You guys, maybe not locally, but I know in some instances, fire departments have come under fire as well in tough situations. So I invite you guys to come out and be a part of the celebration as well. And the men and women upstairs in dispatch, they're just as important as those guys on the street. So invite everybody to come out for that. Then the following week, if the commission would like to see the fruits of Mr. Ehrman's labor, the Dorothy's House will have a ribbon cutting on the 24th for the playground, which is actually open and running right now, but officially going to have a ribbon cutting on the 24th, on that Sunday. Quick reminder to the commissioners, we have a budget work session Monday morning, 7 o'clock.
Yes.
Girl Scout building?
Yes.
Girl Scout building, okay. And then Alice training will start next week, Tuesday at City Hall. And that is active shooter. So
City Hall will be closed.
City Hall will be closed that
From
day?
8 to 11 to the public on Tuesday morning.
All right. Other than that, that is all that I have. Next item up on the agenda will be the vouchers, agenda item number 15.
Your Honor, I make a motion we accept the vouchers in the amount of $1,938,825.33.
Motion by Commissioner Harrison, second by Commissioner Martinez, Vice Mayor Aragon. Second by Commissioner Martinez, or was that you, Jack? That was Commissioner Martinez. All those in favor?
Spend the money.
Your wife didn't write these checks, did you?
No.
Okay. All right, motion carries 5-0. Next, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Meeting adjourned.